Got another one from the White House. Democrats' coordinated video message to our national security apparatus is seditious and dangerous. Quote, the sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command, and if that chain of command is broken, it could lead to people getting killed. It could lead to chaos. Let's hear what she has to say.
You have sitting members of the United States Congress who conspired together to orchestrate a video message to members of the United States military, to active duty service members, to members of the national security apparatus, encouraging them to defy the president's lawful orders.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. It's really annoying when they keep dancing back and forth with regard to this, that they need to be asked, like, what illegal orders are you all referring to? These 6 Democrats that did this video, and they're not coming up with anything at all. And if there aren't any, well, then there's really no point on the White House commenting on it either, because there are no illegal orders that they're suggesting that they defy. So it's really just a giant nothing burger, and frankly, it's frustrating that they keep going on with this.
Sanctity of our military rests on the chain of command. And if that chain of command is broken, it can lead to people getting killed. It can lead to chaos. And that's what these members of Congress who swore an oath to abide by the Constitution are essentially encouraging. We have 1.3 active duty service members in this country. And if they hear this radical message from sitting members of Congress, that could inspire chaos. And
well, look, frankly, if there is an unlawful order that military is receiving, if it is legitimately an unlawful order in every conceivable way, then follow the chain of command. Do what you're supposed to do if you're receiving an unlawful order. Of course, those Democrats who did the video, they didn't explain what you're supposed to do with an unlawful order that you receive. Who exactly do you take it to? What is the chain of command? They didn't go into any of those details. They just said defy it. If you get an unlawful order, just defy it. Just don't do it. Just simply don't do it.
Could incite violence, and it certainly could disrupt the chain of command. And so these members knew what they were doing. They were leading into their credentials as
they were baiting Trump,
and
it fucking worked.
As veterans,
that's what they were doing.
As former members of the national security apparatus, to signal to people serving under this commander-in-chief, Donald Trump, that you can defy him and you can betray your oath of office. That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law.
Yeah, Trump just needs to quit quit grabbing at him like it's low-hanging fruit. I wouldn't even give him the time of day if I would assume if he were to do it all over again, he probably would ignore it, because that video they put out got very little attention. And that's exactly what they're doing, because the Democrats are already on the losing side with the whole Epstein scandal. I mean, it's only Democrats that have come out in the public who have been wrapped up in Jeffrey Epstein thus far. So, and they're already losing the argument with regard to healthcare, because it's pretty hard to argue that you're not fully responsible for Obamacare, and also trying to pin the shutdown on the Republicans, which obviously they needed Democrat senators in order to reopen the government. And that was clear as crystal, which is why Chuck Schumer caved, and they got absolutely nothing out of the shutdown, and they had to reopen it. They got zero, nothing. The $1.5 trillion, they didn't get a penny of it. And they didn't get the Obamacare subsidies that they wanted. They got nothing. So right now, what Democrats are doing, they're trying to lob like the most like low IQ, brain dead nonsense out there, hoping that Republicans or Trump himself will grab onto it. And in this case, he fucking did. And it's really frustrating. All right, moving on. Rapid response 47. I'm not threatening them, but I think they're in serious trouble, says the president on Democrat members of Congress encouraging members of the military to defy orders. Okay, so I guess we're not moving on just yet. These are people that, in my opinion, broke the law. So let's hear this.
If you look at sedition, if you look at, that type of, that's a very strong form of being a traitor. That's a terrible thing to say. I must tell you, I heard it, and I thought it was some kind of a comedy situation. I thought that it was some kind of a skit, and because I couldn't believe that they'd say.
Well, it basically
and I watched
was.
Democrat congressman and one Democrat senator yesterday on one of the shows. Didn't they want to discuss it? They said, "Whoa, don't get me into that one." They don't want to get into it. That is a really
he's talking about the Fox News interview.
I'll tell you what they said is. And it was. I mean, I don't know about the modern day thing.
Yeah, he's talking about the interview on Fox News where I believe it was the Democrat senator which was one of those 6 that did that video on like if you're a member of the military, defy orders if they're illegal orders. Well, on Fox News, they were pressed. Well, what orders are you talking about? Just give us an example of one order that President Trump has issued that they should defy. Like, just name one, and he wouldn't answer it because there are none. They have none to answer. It was a stupid, it was a rage bait, clickbait style video, and they were successful at it because they got Trump talking about it.
You know, modern day is a lot softer, but in the old days, if you said a thing like that, that was punishable by death.
Yeah, but you're not threatening them. A lot of people are interpreting there's a threat and there's security.
Well,
of course they
I'm
are.
not threatening them, but I think they're in serious trouble. I would say they're in serious trouble. I'm not threatening death, but I think they're in serious trouble. In the old
Well, they
days,
took it that
was
way.
death.
Do you worry,
That
Mr.
was
President?
seditious behavior.
Do you worry
that was
that-
a big deal.
Oh, you know they're going to try to
You know,
impeach him over that.
Nothing's a big deal. Today's a different world, okay? It's a softer, it's a meeker, milder world. But I will say this. I think what they did is really bad. The hatred is pretty strong. But what they say, you know, essentially don't follow the orders of the President of the United States.
Well, they said don't follow
the
unlawful orders.
military?
Do you worry
They
that
didn't
these
say
other
don't
guys are
follow
gonna say
orders.
no?
Young privates and young corporals
this is the
and
problem.
young sergeants, and they're not scholars necessarily. There might be a few, frankly, but they're not scholars. They don't.
Oh, dude, come on, dude. Just let this shit go. All 6 of them who did that video, they all served in the military, and a couple of them served like 20 years in the military. So that they're going to immediately push back on what he said there by saying that.
You know, study the Constitution, et cetera, et cetera. They know that. So these are people. These are bad people. These are people that, in my opinion, broke the law. Now, what happens to them, I can't tell you. But they broke the law. That is
No,
a
they
terrible
didn't.
statement.
They
I
didn't,
can say
unfortunately.
if I ever said that, and there were a Democrat as president, all hell would have broken loose. And it has broken loose. I have had more calls from people, even Democrats, saying what a horrible thing that was.
No,
Well,
you
if you
should
look-
have just left it alone, man. You should have just left it alone. Technically, they didn't break the law because they said that if you receive illegal orders, then you are required to defy them. That was the message they were saying. But of course, they framed it. They were walking that razor's edge, and they just framed it in a way that just made it look like that they were essentially instructing members of the military to defy Trump's orders when they didn't exactly say that. They didn't break the law. They know what the fuck they're doing. And clearly it worked. It worked quite well because now Trump's dug himself into a hole over this nonsense because they are going to try to impeach him over it. Freaking Rep. Al Green, for the 5th fucking time, he's coming out and saying that he's gonna file articles of impeachment against Trump over this exact situation. It's freaking ridiculous.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp, Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.